And we all know it does depend on your use of marijuana, but marijuana stays in your system for 30 days. I've heard some cases where they can get it out cleaner. I've never heard of 1 day.
No.
Personally, I don't know if there is documented cases. So that was something that you found very, and this is what he's been picked up for now.
That's right. And and also to point out that the date was the 7th of April, and it said that was the date this report is, and said they're going to, his hearing was the 23rd, which was Thursday. They took him into court on the 8th, and we asked him why is an attorney there for the hearing. So we're going to, what they said, they said we're going to have it on the 23rd. But they already had decided it.
So they brought him in, okay, they took him in on the 7th. They told him that his court date was not going to be 23rd, so he was going to sit in there that long for a violation of probation.
But they took him in on the 8th.
The very next day.
The very next day, when they already had scheduled it on the 7th for the 23rd. So why did they take him into court on the 8th?
I don't know. So then they took him in on the 23rd. That was the most recent.
No, he didn't go. They canceled it.
Canceled it completely. So Tim's still currently in jail.
Yeah.
For submitted a drug screen that tested positive for THC, where 1 day later it shows he's negative. So that's an odd thing. And that's the most current. I want to back up just a minute. Last year, when you started noticing after the police kept targeting Tim, and you finally started to believe that Tim, because at first you said on the last show that you thought the same as the rest of us. She was getting into trouble.
I was yelling at him.
And he needs to clean up his act, and there is no corruption. The police aren't out to get him. But when you finally started to figure that there was some things going on.
Can I just say one thing?
Absolutely.
This is interesting. My husband's brother is a retired Chicago detective. His father was he's deceased now. He was a lifetime policeman in Chicago. When this all started happening, we went to Timmy's uncle, Uncle Jim. What's going on here? Can you help me out? He said, oh no, I ain't gonna get involved. Indianapolis is the most crooked city in the country. He said, people talk about Chicago. Oh, we don't do what they do down there. So he confirmed what he.
So you heard that Indianapolis is pretty corrupt.
Yes.
So after you started feeling that there was some discrepancies and Tim might actually have been telling the truth on some of this, you contacted
Police Complaint Center.
Police Complaint Center, which is a private company.
Yeah, it's a private organization.
And what do? They
investigate police corruption.
Okay. So
they put it on YouTube, 2020, Dateline NBC, places like that.
So you contact them, and then you say, hey, I think I got some corruption going on, and they come and investigate.
Yes.
And one of the interesting things that I want to note about this, and this is from Leslie Sorwine, Administrator. Sourwine, excuse me.
I just want to take
No, absolutely. The one thing I do want to say, and she goes on and she investigated, she does say in here, there does seem to be a deliberate targeting of Mr. Treacy by law enforcement officials since Treacy refused requests to be an informant for the police. Because he did that one time, almost got killed, said no more. So ever since then, and this is an independent company.
Right.
She's not related to you. No. She's not your family. She is not out to help you if there is no corruption or if there is nothing going on.
She gets nothing.
Right. But she does notice that there's obviously a targeting. And then the really thing that I want to say is if you read the end of this letter, and it goes on and talks about the different things she's noticed.
In the file, and they don't have police reports, for example.
They don't have police reports. They don't have
probable cause affidavits are gone.
They don't have the 2 DWI, 2 of the TWI paperwork.
Right.
They don't have the breathalyzers. So there's a lot of things missing, and she documents it. But what's really interesting is at the very last paragraph in hers, that even if all of this is true, and I'm sorry, you're just a crazy mom that wants to believe your son, but he's done all these crimes, and you just have to admit it. this gentleman has served his time.
Yeah. Way back. And that, tell them when this was written.
And this was in May 23rd, 2008.
A year
Good
ago.
point. A year ago. And this young man is still in jail.
Right.
For the same crimes, other than he's got the new one, the probation violation of the marijuana, which these documents show that he didn't have any marijuana. But she says a year ago, even if this young man is guilty of all of this, he spent enough time in jail that he served his time for all these crimes.
And the judge actually said that one day.
The judge?
The judge is the judge in the case. He said this is all timed out.
And that was what her thing was. It is actually even noted, I think it was in hers, that they're over the time frame.
Yeah.
For some of these charges.
But they're saying that he, my son, Tim, asked for continuance after continuance after, so it's his fault.
And then your question becomes, why would you ask continuance to just sit in jail longer?
No, that's right. And that also implies, if you ask me, my son has more power than the judge.
Yeah, because eventually...
You're going to say, you know...
Enough of continuances.
That's right.
And with your notes, I've read through your notes, that seems to be almost every time he went in front of the judge, that's what they would...
And I took those notes every day, every time I was in court.
And they kept saying either somebody wasn't there or some information wasn't there, and they would just say continuance. And continuance. And continuance. So this young man never ever got his... Still hasn't got his day in court.